Hello and welcome to It Means Everything, presented by Irwin Mitchell. Today we're here in Oxfordshire at Oxford Quins RFC, a club that played a pivotal role in the early days of Maud Muir, who played at the club between the ages of 5 to 12. Starting out in mixed teams as the only girl on the pitch, Maud quickly stood out for her fearless play and natural talent.
The fondest memories at Oxford Harlequins probably would have to be the parents of the boys. I was the only girl in the team and the parents just were amazing with me and acted like I was like this special human, and I think that really grew me into the rugby player and the person I am today, because they would literally just show how much they cared about me and they'd teach their children that I was a really key part of the team.
She was our best player, perhaps not surprisingly. She was our captain and she just thrived on that, the physicality of the game, even though, you know, playing with mostly against boys.
She climbed through the mini and junior ranks here before moving on to the Gosford All Blacks. Then the Wasp Centre of Excellence as a teenager and eventually joining Gloucester Hartbury, where she became a key figure in their title-winning campaigns.
Maud Muir will go one better. Trot on the loose. Gloucester Hartbury are your 2025 Premiership Women's Rugby champions.
On the international stage, Maud has represented England at under 18 and under 20 levels, before making her senior debut against New Zealand in 2021.
I describe it as it didn't feel real. It was like a cloud, like, I don't know, it was just so bizarre. It did not feel real. First scrum of the game, which was very successful, which I'd like to think that's kind of I do the collisions, the attack and defence, but as a prop, you want to be good at scrummaging, so to get a scrum pen in the first moment of my debut was pretty special.
Since then, she's earned a massive 40 caps, all by the age of 23.
On for Muir, and England have the first score inside 5 minutes.
Proud of her and what she's achieved, because mainly it's down to her, although obviously there's the coaching staff and the clubs and even her parents and her brother and sister as well who've helped her achieve all this.
Today we return to where it all began, to hear from the people who nurtured Maud's talent and helped shape not just the player she is today, but the person. Craig, if we could go back to the very first time that you met Maud, what were you doing and how did you meet her?
I was coaching Oxford Harlequins under sixes, which was a small group on a rainy September morning, and Maud turned up with her dad, and she instantly stood out because at that time the club was entirely boys and male players, and she was pretty much the only or one of the very few female players in the whole club.
Wow.
And she turned up with a scrum cap on, ready to play.
He never saw me as the only girl. Like I was a part of the team, and yeah, he didn't ever leave me out. He was very inclusive, and yeah, very grateful for him.
Maud was outstanding to coach. In fact, I would say that her coachability was her superpower. Wow. You would just say something to her once and she would instantly digest it and apply it. When you go to events and you have to say what's the the one secret about you, I always say I coached a current England international. I'm enormously proud and have followed her career, and obviously her and her family were just a pleasure to be associated with.
Maud epitomises everything which is brilliant about sport and rugby. Just her positivity, the way she is a big part of a team. She clearly likes culture. She drives that energy of positivity, and you can see why team sport she'd thrive. Yes, she's incredibly gifted, but I think she adds more than just to her playing ability. She's a really integral part of keeping people positive, particularly in hard campaigns like Six Nations and World Cups. You need people, I reckon, like Maud in the camp to make it less stressful and less high stakes all the time.
So since Maud left the club and left school, do you still keep in touch with her?
Every so often when she's got a down week, she'll always message me and say, can I go to the club, can I use the facilities, get my extra training in, do a couple of sprints, a couple of interval sessions. But every single time, she doesn't got to ask, but she always asks, always mega polite. And I always say, of course, Maud, it's your ground, complete free reign whenever we want to use it. And yeah, we keep in touch that way.
It's amazing to have players who come through the club and go on to be successful, particularly those players who play international rugby. Maud obviously started here in the minis, back at a time when she got to the age of 12, we didn't have a junior girls section, so understandably she continued her rugby journey at another club. We're looking to develop that now, and we've in the last sort of 12 to 18 months started to develop our junior girls section, so an under 12s, 14s and 16s section here. We've got great aspirations around the growth that we can do there, and obviously having people who've come through that these youngsters can look up to and see that those opportunities are available is great.
1, 2, 3, Quins! So we are coming to the end of our 4th season, which is pretty incredible. We've grown from strength to strength. So 4 seasons ago we didn't have a women's team established, and now we have regular sort of 40 to 50 women training. We've managed to put out 2 teams, which is incredible. We've got a really good partnership with Oxford Brooks as well, so we train with their women's team, and a lot of our focus has been growing our girls. So I think we must have about 50 girls between the age of 6 and 16, and that's again the last couple of years gone from a handful of about 10 all the way through, which is great. Obviously Maud, when she started her rugby journey, it was just Maud coming through. So the growth looking back, reflecting when she was a little girl playing rugby at Quins to now, is quite incredible.
Tell me a bit about the minis and junior section down at Oxford Harlequins.
It's a wonderful family club, and we range from under 6s all the way up through to the junior section before obviously moving into the youth. And it's a place where families can come down and we can really kind of start them off playing rugby at a young age and just introducing them into the kind of concepts of the sport, and then building them up obviously to hopefully create the first 15s of the future. And we really encourage the kind of mixed participation as well and try and reduce the barriers to the sport. So thinking about how we can support people financially to encourage their participation, but also gender-wise as well, we've got a really strong girls unit as well, which is we're really keen to keep growing.
Fun is kind of at the forefront of everything we do. I guess putting those rugby values into play and making sure that both on the pitch as well and off the pitch it's social, everyone gets involved. It's really good because some of the senior players like myself will go and coach the girls as well, so they've got positive role models. They come down and support and cheer on our games. So yeah, it's just kind of one big rugby community.
As a former Red Rose yourself, how does it feel to see a women's game that's thriving at the club?
It's really important to give back. I had a lot of people when I was younger, whether it was a university or my first clubs, right through my career helping, and sport cannot happen without volunteers, any sport. So it's really important for us to give back. This group of girls, they're young, they're vibrant and they're willing to learn, and they're like sponges. Yeah. So the progress over the 4 years from me coming down and really looking at basics to now been working at tactics and positioning is really quite stark. And it's really important that there's a pathway. So as well as the girls into the women's teams, but there's also lots of excellence programmes around, and lots of former coaches here have been involved in those excellent programmes. So the level of coaching that is given to these girls and young people is really high.
For them, they kind of look up to us and they kind of see how well we've done, and they just want to keep pushing, and they turn up to training on Tuesdays and Thursdays after a hard day at work, but they still just want to learn. And I think that's why the coaching here is so good, because they just want to learn, they just want to keep improving week on, week out.
Pete, I played for Chinner growing up, Oxfordshire club. Yep. How important is rugby to the county?
Oh, massive, absolutely massive. We take pride in what we're doing. Even though we're a small county with 17 clubs, it's massive. And we're pushing it hard across the women's, girls, obviously with the World Cup that's coming up this year, but also seeing the age grade as well. And we were worried with COVID how it was going to affect, but actually we bounced back really, really well. So from my perspective, it was really good to see age grade, women's and girls, and the seniors really improve and just bring it all together as one big family, and that's why we see it as.
The number of clubs now for women and girls is a huge number compared to 20 years ago. But we've got to make sure that we have that stability in volunteering and coaching and refereeing in terms of making sure that it's consistent and conducive to improvement.
We moved up here to Horsepath Road about 7 years ago. Prior to that, we'd been quite nomadic, struggling at times to get a men's seconds team out, no women's section, a thriving minis and juniors section, which we continue to have, but things had started to stall a little bit. So obviously moving up here was really a renaissance opportunity. Clubs like ours are completely reliant upon volunteers. Without volunteers, none of this would happen. Everything that's happening today is down to the volunteers who have helped make it happen. We're really blessed to have so many amazing people helping us make this happen each day.
Obviously, without volunteers like yourself and coaches, clubs like this wouldn't be able to function. And what brought you down to Oxford Harlequins in the first place?
It's such a strong community of parents, and you say volunteers, and always so welcoming. I think Harlequins has been on an incredible journey. It's such a success story. When we were playing, we were on a school field with leaning rugby posts and molehills, and nowhere to park the car. And look at it now. I mean, it's a hugely successful club. It's unrecognisable, and all the people involved in that club journey need an awful lot of credit.
I think we're really blessed with the amount of space here. Obviously, we have a long lease from the council, which sees us manage the site. We've currently got 4 full-size rugby pitches with posts, two are floodlit. We've got space for another 2 full-size pitches.
Facilities here are wonderful. It's something that drew me to it actually. When I arrived, I saw it's a serious place, but a serious place that actually takes its rugby very seriously, but as I said earlier, the kind of community, the heart and the enjoyment factor thrives through, so don't take themselves too seriously in that regard.
It's so important to have facilities, and as a club we're quite unusual in that we are fully amateur. None of the players at any level, whether men, women, man or boy, woman or girl, get paid anything to play here, which allows us, I guess, to invest all of the resources that we do have available into, I guess, that wider offer, whether it's the facilities or the experience that the players get on a training night or a match day.
To sum it up, I think that rugby has been brilliant for Maud's personality and her growth as a person. And that wouldn't have been possible without the grassroots involvement of places like this.
I just want to say a big thank you to Oxford Harlequins for helping me along my whole journey, and good luck for the season ahead.
For Maud, this was the club that made her fall in love with rugby. For the club, however, Maud was the inspiration to create a thriving environment for young girls and a successful women's section. With fantastic facilities and a strong family community, it provides a perfect platform for so many in the Oxford area. To the club and the people that play here, it means everything. Presented by Irwin Mitchell.